welcome back. Look at this. Looks like a postcard. We've been talking about postcards today. There was a postcard collecting, I want to say convention.
Convention, there we go.
I was like, what's the word? What's the word?
Where we learn about postcards. That'd be kind of cool too, like history of postcards or something like that.
I'm sure there would be people down for that.
I'm sure there's people down for everything.
I know. But let's get down with the weather.
That's right. People might be down with the forecast, and there's some Mainers out there that are snow haters, and they're not happy about it, but that's okay. We have a little bit of everything out there in our forecast for today. Here's a look at our radar this morning. You can see that some snow is on radar, at least, moving into western Maine. Looking at webcams, though, up in the mountains, none of this is reaching the ground. It's just too dry at this point for anything to be sticking or coming out of the skies. That will change as we head through the morning as things look to saturate in the atmosphere. This morning, mostly expecting snow. Along the coastline, I wouldn't expect really anything, but a flurry is possible this morning. By lunchtime, as temperatures warm up, any snow changes to rain outside of the mountains, with rain and mountain snow looking to continue into the afternoon. This has not really changed our thinking with the snowfall over the past couple days. 1 to 3 inches looking most likely in the mountains. Higher elevations could see 3 to as much as 6 inches of snow Sunday afternoon and evening. For central Maine, Lewiston, Augusta, Bangor, maybe a quick coating up to an inch. I think an inch would be a stretch here with that changing to rain pretty quickly. And along the coast, of course, it's all rain. So here's a look at our storm tracker. You can see by the mid to late morning hours, snow does start reaching the ground, especially in central Maine. This is when we get that coating before we do turn over to rain. Notice as the steadier precipitation arrives, there we go, that milder air wins out. We turn over to rain in central and southern Maine, keeping the snow up in the foothills and the mountains. Snow continues in the mountains through about 9 p.m. or so with rain outside of the mountains. And then everything wraps up overnight. Chillier air moves in, likely below freezing to start tomorrow. Couldn't rule out maybe some black ice out there on Monday morning, although with breezy winds, we should dry out pretty nicely. By Monday afternoon, it's chilly, sunny, and windy. Highs only in the 30s for tomorrow, so keep that in mind. The start of the work week is cold. At least it's quiet because Tuesday will certainly not be. Snow develops for Tuesday afternoon, continuing into Tuesday night. There's still some uncertainty in the highest totals with a sharp cutoff possible or potentially some mixing along the coast. There's basically 2 camps here that the models are in. One with a stronger storm that comes to the north. 2, with a slightly weaker storm that passes farther offshore to the south. This would have lighter amounts of snow with the highest totals in southern Maine and along the coast. Notice that sharp cutoff, as I just mentioned, that would leave very little snow for the mountains. Compare that to the American and several other models, which are showing the storm being a little more potent, coming closer to Maine. That brings mixing to the coastline and pushes the highest snow totals inland. So as much as I would love to have a snow map for you to show this morning, still just a little too early as models remain pretty in disagreement. But one thing's for certain, somebody in Maine will likely get widespread snow, potentially several inches out of this. So let's look at what the models are showing. I would say don't get married to these exact numbers. Don't focus on the numbers, but this is more just to show those 2 scenarios. This is the GFS, the American model. Notice it pushes some of the highest totals inland, potentially several inches, upwards of a half foot or so, with everybody in Maine getting snow in this scenario. Here's the European model. Also shows widespread snowfall, but it keeps those highest totals along the coast. It also bumps totals down a bit with northern Maine. Look at that, getting hardly anything in this scenario. So because of these big differences, still just a little too early to nail down that potential. Here's a look at what the European model shows though. Tuesday afternoon and evening were snowy, especially along the coastline. Things wrap up for Wednesday with a quiet day expected. Arctic front will then swing through on Thursday. Cold, snow showers, snow squalls likely Thursday afternoon. Very, very cold Friday. And then we're watching our next storm potential Saturday. Models hinting, yeah, maybe another snow event for next weekend. We are really starting December off on a very wintry note as the cold looks to remain in place and get even stronger later in the week. Look at this white here. That's a lobe of the polar vortex swinging through New England on Friday. Yeah, that means highs in the 20s, lows in the single digits. It's going to be just brutal late in the week after the snow Tuesday wraps up Wednesday. Thursday, we'll likely see some snow showers. Look at Friday, frigid, cold, 4 to start in the morning, around 20 in the afternoon. And then look at Saturday, watching that next chance of snow along the coast. Similar story, not much relief from the cold Friday, single digits there too, and only in the 20s for the afternoon. So yeah, Leanne, we are busy. That's for sure. Definitely wintry.
Hot chocolate season.
Yes, it absolutely is.
Do you make yours
hot
with
anything?
Milk or water?
Milk. Yeah, it has to
Love
have
it
milk.
with milk. Oh
Yeah.
my
Have you ever had it with oat milk? I've made it with oat milk before too.
Oh, I
Super
like
good.
soy milk better, so I'll try with soy milk.
Okay,
Though.
got to try it with the
Milk alternatives.
I like the nutty flavor, right? Yeah.
I guess so.